Hello everyone. We are reporting right from outside Aeon Digital, and the day is finally here when the wait of all the CAT aspirant is finally over. We have a brilliant student of Hitbullseye over here. Her name is Arushi. I'm just gonna ask her some, you can say, first-hand experience of how the exam was, what kind of questions were there, what were the level of difficulty, and so on. So I welcome you, Arushi. So I hope your exam went well.
Yes, ma'am, it went well.
Okay.
Verbal was easy and quant was on a tougher side.
Quant was on a tougher side, so that is what we get from her. Okay, I know that Arushi, we've been preparing for months now. We were on the same journey. So how is the feel? How do you feel now that finally exam is over?
Stress is less now. And yeah.
Okay, so there are 66 questions in the CAT exam. If you can recall section-wise how many questions you were able to do, just an idea of it.
In verbal, I attempted 14 questions and in DI and quant, 8 each.
Okay, 14 is 9. If out of 24 you are able to attempt 14 questions and you bag up, let's say 12 to 13 questions, that's well and good. Okay, Arushi, what kind of passages were there in reading comprehension? We know that passages every time come from different subject areas.
One passage was on history side and other was on beliefs and culture and
Was there any passage from science or let's say business, something related to that? No, this time I think the passages were more philosophical or culture based kind of passages. Okay, and if I talk about the DI section, were there 5 blocks or 4 blocks in total?
I think there were 5 blocks and no, there were actually 4 blocks with 5 questions each.
Okay, so this time there were 4 blocks. So you either get 5 blocks of 4 question each, or let's say 4 blocks of 5 question each. So Arushi, how many of those blocks were doable and how many you could complete?
I only did 1.5 block. I was managed to do those.
Okay.
And rest were like a bit tricky, so I left those.
Well, that's understandable. This is the common thing we get from each and every student, that DI blocks were tricky. But I believe if you're able to select the right one, you'll be able to solve it. So I would want to know from you, Arushi, from the quant section, were there a lot of questions from arithmetic, algebra, or were there a lot of questions from higher maths?
Theta questions were like in high number, about 7 to 8 theta questions were there, which was very high this time. And algebra and arithmetic questions were moderate.
Okay.
Algebra was more and arithmetic were also there.
So there were a lot of questions from algebra?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's often seen that if the paper setter has to give you difficult question, it might be from algebra. But what I get from Arushi is in the slot 1, algebra was manageable. Alright, so the last question for today. Last year we saw that for the first time in verbal section, instead of the odd one out question, we were given misfit placement kind of question, wherein you have to fit a sentence into a paragraph. So was it misfit this time or sentence placement?
Both were there.
Both were there. So how many questions?
Sentence arrangement, there were 3 questions, and misfits, there were 2.
Okay, so beta, there was no sentence placement kind of question this time, wherein you have to fit a sentence into a paragraph in the right blank?
There were.
It was there. Alright, so it was a mixture of sentence rearrangement, misfit, and also sentence placement. Well, we would get to know more from a lot of other students who are still here. I am grateful, Arushi, that you're finally done with this exam, and I hope that you score really well in the exam, and I wish you all the very best for your future. Thank you. Right then. So I'm going to hand over the mic to our anchor, Anchal, here, and let's see what has she to contribute to the reviews today. There you go, Anchal.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So we have many students here जो अभी slot 1 के बाद आए हैं, and we'll ask them कि इनका कैसा रहा, insights of exam. So we have next student with us. Please come. What's your name?
Sanya Agarwal.
Hi Sanya. So how was the exam? Like if I'll ask you, how are you feeling right now?
I'm pretty nervous about the result because I have given my 100%. Like the exam was good, but somewhere it was the level of toughness was high than expected.
Okay, so it was on the difficult side,
Yeah.
I think. Okay, so if I go section wise, so according to you, which section was more like on the difficult side, the verbal part, quant or DILR?
I guess the quant was a little bit and the DI. Verbal was okay. I mean, it was doable.
Okay, so like how many questions according to you were doable? Like,
In quant,
yes, in quant, DILR, like how many questions you have attempted? If I talk about verbal, so how many questions were there?
verbal, I guess I attempted around of 14 or 15 questions.
Oh, nice.
They were attemptable. And in, I guess, quant, I attempted 8 and 9 questions.
That's really nice. So, and you were saying the exam was on difficult part.
Actually, those questions were taking a lot of time than expected. I was hoping to more questions like distance, time and speed and all the other topics, but they were more focusing on others.
So, if I ask about कि आपने manage कैसे किया वो section wise time limit जो थी, like how you manage that?
I first of all go through all the questions and then decided which were doable and which were not. So I focused more on the doable questions that consumed my time, and the one which are not doable, I kept them for the last time, which is like for 5 to 10 minutes just to give an overview of those questions.
That's really nice strategy. If I ask that जो आपने पिछले mocks attempt किए थे उसमें से you feel कि कोई question ऐसा था जो mocks में बिल्कुल भी नहीं था या last year actual CAT के exam में भी नहीं था, like the unexpected questions, are there some questions, like how many questions were there which were not accepted?
Like in DI is usually not expected, and I guess in quant there were few questions which were not expected by me that they would come.
So if I ask you about the count, like 2 or 3, there is some count of these questions
Maybe 4?
in each section?
No, in quant.
Okay.
And if we see in DI, DI is always unpredictable.
Yeah.
And in, I guess I was not expecting that there will be many questions in verbal of the sentence arrangement and all that, but there were few and they were doable.
So right now, are you feeling like relaxed because slot 2 is about to start? So you want to give any advice to students who are giving slot 2?
I would like to tell them that do your best and give more focus on the questions that you can do, because the paper might be tricky.
Okay. So actually, which IIM are you targeting?
Mainly I'm focusing on IIM Bangalore.
That's really nice. That's really nice. So all the very best, and I hope like you clear your exam, go to IIM Bangalore, and then we'll come to Bangalore and interview. So what percentile are you expecting like after the exam? If I say
No comments on those.
okay, no issues. So thank you so much, and all the very best for your future. So as we see that that she gave us the insight of CAT exam, that the exam was on the difficult part this time, but also students are attempting, and she has a very good attempt in all the sections. The negative marking is this. For slot 2 student, I'll suggest that only focus on doable sections, doable questions. सिर्फ यही देखिए कि doable कितने हैं और non doable कितने हैं. इससे it is easy for you to attempt. और ज़्यादा attempt करने पे मत ध्यान देना. Slot 2 students. Also IIM लखनऊ ने इस बार हमारा CAT एग्ज़ाम कंडक्ट कराया है. सो एज सच हमें कोई चेंजेस देखने को नहीं मिले हैं. ये इज़ जस्ट अ मिथ कि हमेशा DILR पार्ट हाँ डिफ़िकल्ट पार्ट पे आता है एंड वर्बल भी थोड़ा सा वर्बल थोड़ा मॉडरेट हो जाता है. तो इट इज़ नॉट लाइक, इट्स जस्ट अ मिथ. सो वर्क हार्ड एंड सिर्फ अपने एंजाइटी से अलग सिर्फ क्वेश्चंस पे फोकस करना जो आपकी स्ट्रेंथ में है. ऑल्सो कीप इन माइंड द टाइम लिमिट, बिकॉज हम कभी कभी ऐसे क्वेश्चंस पे फोकस करते हैं जो कि नॉन डूएबल होते हैं और फिर हमारा उसमें टाइम बहुत चला जाता है. सो फोकस ऑन दोज क्वेश्चन जो आपके पास डूएबल हैं और जो आप अटेम्प्ट कर पा रहे हो. एंड इट्स अ वेरी बिग डे फॉर ऑल द कैट एस्पिरेंट्स. So I'll just say, so just focus on your strength and anxiety मत लीजिए because slot 1 is over and बहुत crowd था यहाँ पे, बहुत crowd है यहाँ पे and students are feeling very relaxed. वो लोग बहुत relaxed हैं, इतना कुछ difficulty नहीं हो पा रहा है. And slot 2 अभी start होने वाला है. So obviously we're excited and we have next student with us. Actually we have next Damini ma'am is here. So ma'am please. Hello ma'am. Actually Damini ma'am ने भी CAT exam दिया है. So we'll ask her the insights of the exam. So ma'am, how are you feeling right now after the exam?
I'm feeling very good. The exam was like a bit tough. There were some of the tricky questions as well. But yeah, it went well.
Okay. Ma'am, if I ask you that this time exam is conducted by IIM Lucknow. So like exam was, the questions were little bit difficult or like how is the exam? If I say moderate, difficult level, how is it?
You can say like some questions were really tricky and overall it was a moderate to difficult level of exam. Yeah.
Okay. So ma'am, if I go the section wise, so in verbal part, how many RCs were there which were doable?
In total there were 4 RCs, but I found 2 RCs which were really doable and all of them have 4 questions each. So yeah, these were the like RCs, and then again there were 2 misfits in the exam this year. So other than that, like there were 4 type in the answer questions. So Tita questions were 4 this year, right? And misfit में Tita questions थे, and then in odd one out there were the Tita questions. Then again 2 para jumbles, 2 para summaries. So this was about VARC section.
सो मैम जो RCs आए थे जो कि आप बोल रहे डुएबल थे जो आपने अटेम्प्ट किए, वो कौन से सेक्शन में से, कौन से टॉपिक में से थे?
बेसिकली एक इकोनॉमिक सेक्शन का RC था and one was based on history.
Okay. So if I talk about the DI-LR part, so was it difficult, moderate?
अगेन वहाँ पे भी ऐसे 2 सेट्स थे जो मॉडरेट लेवल के थे, बट वन सेट वॉज रियली ट्रिकी. इट वॉज होल बेस्ड ऑन DI ओनली, सो इट वॉज ऑल अबाउट मोड, मीडियन एंड एवरीथिंग. सो दैट वॉज अ difficult set. Other than that, like all 3 sets were doable. Yeah.
Okay. So how many questions you have attempted from the LID?
I have attempted 10 questions from each section. So that was my target. So I have attempted almost 10 questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have completed your target. In quant part also, the questions, some like you have seen the CAT 2022 exam also.
Right.
So have you felt anything like any different question in this exam?
Arithmetic progressions. I think AP के questions, there were 3 questions from AP section. So मुझे वहाँ पे लगा कि वो थोड़े ज़्यादा questions थे, and I didn't found any question from PNC part. So that was different from last year.
Okay. Yes. And mock से भी मतलब ये नया कुछ था जो हमें इस 2023 के एग्जाम में देखने को मिला.
Right, ma'am.
Okay. So ma'am, slot 2 is about to start. So any suggestions for students जो slot 2 में अभी attempt करने वाले हैं?
Just be calm and be calm with the RCs and also with the the sets in DI and LR. So there are like sets जो mixed भी आएंगे आपको with DI and with LR section also. So just be calm and attempt your like exam gracefully. So that is the only suggestion.
Okay, so just be calm and slot 2 student, don't worry. Exam में ऐसा कुछ नहीं, exam is moderate as ma'am said. So ma'am, for the preparation, like how you started your preparation if I say?
I started it like along with my studies only. So as now I'm working, so I meanwhile do my preparation like whenever I get time, I do it on a daily basis. Yeah, so consistency is the key for the exam. So you have to be consistent whether you are like preparing it in your college or while you are into a job. You have to be consistent. If you are giving like 1 hour to your studies on a daily basis, so you have to be consistent with that 1 hour. So that is all.
Okay, so as ma'am told us, consistency is the key. So just focus on that, and thank you so much ma'am for being here and for telling us insights of the exam कि exam में से questions कैसे थे and BRC section में कैसे थे. So thank you so much ma'am. So so don't worry slot 2 students. Ma'am have already told us कि verbal में जो हमारे RC थे वो economics में से थे. So slot 2 also same रहेगा and just be calm. Now I'll hand over the mic to Sheetal ma'am for tell you the more insights of the exam. Ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, Aanchal. So while Aanchal was interviewing the students, I also talked to a lot of students. Honestly, what I have gathered is, as usual, the exam was of moderate level. The strategy was to select the right set of questions, and you would have bagged, I'm perfectly sure that you would have bagged at least 95 and above percentile. So just gonna give you section-wise reviews here. So if I talk about the VARC section, what I got to know about reading comprehension passages is, one passage was related to culture of the European nations or some of the European countries, you can say. There was a passage from history also, what I have gathered, and 2 passages were somehow philosophical in the nature. So my tip here would be, do not expect this thing that if you get a passage on technology, it will be core on technology only. It's important that you understand the passage thoroughly, you interact with it, you read it in between the line. That's very important. Maintain your composure while approaching this verbal section. While you see the paper, filter the section and decide which all questions are you going to do. For example, you may go for 3 reading comprehensions which you believe are of your liking, if of your subject area. So this time there were questions on sentence placement also, though there is not much clarity on if it was misfit type or sentence placement. But I have one student with us who probably will throw some light whether we got odd one out questions this time or sentence placement. So yes, please. What is your name, beta? Samiksha. All right. So Samiksha, can you tell me overall how was the paper? How would you rate it?
I will rate it like 8.5.
8.5 out of 10 on difficulty on level. Acha, on difficulty level.
Yes.
All right. So first of all, how do you feel that the exam is finally done?
Yeah, I'm feeling great, but still it was not so like up to mark as I thought that it will be, but
I understand. Yeah,
now it's over.
I understand that. So when you prepare so much for something and you invest a lot, that the being anxious is but obvious, right? Your name again? Samiksha. I just want to know one thing from you, which I don't have a clarity on. In verbal section, this time, were there odd one out kind of question or were there sentence placement questions? Yes.
I don't know because I focused on RCs, so I mainly just went through that questions and that option 1 in which you have to pick one option. A phrase is given and you have to pick one option and you have to find the suitable one in which it fits. So
yes, so sentence placement.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Samiksha.